Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about the growing market power of Hispanic consumers in California. My guest is the president and CEO of the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Alice Perez. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this growing market. I mean, population is increasing, the number of businesses increasing, so it's all good.
Actually, our population currently today in California, there's over 700,000 Hispanic businesses, and those businesses employ over 650,000 employees. So when you look at the contribution we're making to the economy, it's huge. And we actually contribute over $1 billion towards the state budget in California.
Do you think, as a whole, you and the other businesses and the chambers are doing a good enough job in tapping into those consumers?
I definitely think we do business with each other. We have a very focused concentration on B2B. Part of our work, though, is in teaching our businesses how to move beyond that. And we do that through our local chambers of commerce. So we are the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. Our members are actually chambers and organizations that serve Hispanic businesses throughout the state. And so part of what we do is provide training and workshops and things like that that actually help the businesses understand how to market themselves, how to utilize technology, also giving them access to procurement opportunities to actually grow their businesses as well.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because I've always thought there are three major obstacles or barriers to small, medium-sized business success. Access to capital, access to keeping up with technology, and also the procurement process, the government procurement process. Let's take procurement first. I mean, you know, high-speed rail is a major government project. Are you getting some business?
Well, what we found for a lot of our businesses is there's a lot of companies that do a certification process to get them certified to do business, but they don't get the contracts. And the reason is they don't have the experience. So this year we actually launched a procurement mentorship program. And what the program is focused on is identifying businesses and helping them link with primes that are getting the contracts with the larger corporations.
And they're the decision makers here.
Right. But we feel if we can link them with the prime instead of the large corporation, we can actually help build their resume and their experience. So eventually they will have enough experience that they can bid for those larger contracts.
Are you finding that that is working?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, and the other thing, you know, that we focus on as well, you mentioned access to capital. What we're finding with access to capital, there's your traditional models, which include micro lending, you know, the CDFIs, the banks, the credit unions. But what we're seeing a lot of our businesses do now is utilizing technology for crowdfunding.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they're actually funding their businesses that way.
And that sort of dovetails into the new technology that we've talked about as another barrier.
Yeah.
I know the chambers and your organization does a lot of legislative advocacy. What's the top priority when you talk to folks at the Capitol, for example?
I think one of the biggest priorities for a lot of our businesses across the state right now is the minimum wage. And the reason is that not only do we have a state and a federal, but a lot of cities are considering developing their own minimum wage. And when you look at a business that has to not only comply with state and federal, but now a city might also mandate something on top of that, it can impact our businesses in a very negative way. And so what we're advocating for is that state and federal is enough. We don't need to go down to the city level. And think about the nightmare. Just look in Sacramento area. If you're a company and you have employees that are working in Sacramento, but then they go to Roseville or Elk Grove, each of those can have their own minimum wage as well. So that's a tremendous impact.
So you're not necessarily against a higher minimum wage as long as it's reasonable, but also level, consistent across the board.
We don't need as many tiers. We already have state and federal. We don't need the cities to get involved as well.
All right. Well, interesting discussion. Alice, thank you very much for coming by. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on My Government on Demand, also on YouTube. I'm Steve Swatt.